Federal prosecutors arrested an internet sex sting after he allegedly traveled to Michigan from Florida to have sex with a 5-year-old girl, hanged himself in a Michigan federal prison Friday morning. Atchison, 53, of Pensacola, Florida, was put on a suicide watch after he used a bedsheet in an attempted suicide in September, but apparently they didn't collect enough from him because at 10:14 a.m. Friday, they announced that he committed suicide. So there it is. He's gone. He died. Took himself out. You probably don't know this because you don't go to the website, but there were a few people who showed up at the.
I did hear from Ken.
SModcast thread about
there
were a lot of cats who thought that I was behaving inappropriately. I was speaking too barbarically, like I was all for torture and shit like that. Condoning torture, and I was fighting for my life in that thread for a little while. People were upset, dude. People were just like, you can't. If we start acting like them, fucking then, what happens to your soul? What?
I mean, I don't know.
I know you're not necessarily into the torture thing, but I'm all about killing these. I think this dude got off light. Fucking hung himself. Pussy. Think about the pain and torture he was going to put that little girl through. The fictional one that didn't exist. Or the ones that he alleged that he had fucked in the past. Because as you remember in the story, he said,
he's good at being gentle.
Yeah, gentle. Or he kind of inferred that it was not his first time. I just think you're a child rapist. To hang yourself, you're going out too lightly. Do you know there's only one case of a person in this country, I just read this online, who's on death row for child rape? Like, that's kind of weird, but great.
Yeah.
It needs to be more, but there's only one. He hasn't been executed yet. But somebody somewhere in this country, according to this article, is on death row for child rape. Needs to be more of that, I say. This dude, that's what I'm saying.
I understand.
He was arrested carrying presents for this little girl, including a doll and earrings and sexual materials, officials said, one of which was a jar of Vaseline. What is that?
I'm like,
what is that? Doesn't that just kill you inside? Aren't you just like, I wish that I'd hung him myself? Vaseline, dude, 5-year-old girl. What's he using it for, Mose? You tell me.
I know exactly.
Give her a back rub? No.
I know.
Horrible, heinous things.
I know exactly. My reaction is no different than your reaction as far as my
your outrage.
My outrage.
Where do you find the how can you support a man like this, Mose? Where do you find the human sympathy, the empathy,
the compassion?
Thank you. The compassion.
How do I find compassion? Well, some people would say that the fact that I'm like, he hung himself, whatever, is not necessarily compassion.
True.
Real compassion would be that you would say that he was a troubled man who had mental problems, who was doing something beyond his control. That's what I'm saying. That if you're going to be compassionate, then you would try to understand why he was doing these things. Mm-hmm. Not condoning what he was doing, but you would try to understand why he was doing those things.
Right.
My thing is that, the fact that I don't want to shoot him in all of his legs and chop off his balls.
Right.
And show it to him.
Right.
Which may be the thing that tipped it over the edge.
Yeah, people are like, don't show him it. I'm like, no, show him it.
What about your soul? You show a man his balls, your soul goes to hell.
Let me tell you what some buddies of his said. There were no red flags. He was normal. He went to work at the courthouse Monday through Friday. It's not like he carried dolls to the ballpark, said Police Lieutenant Rick Hawthorne, who knew Atchison for more than 10 years and coached softball.
Is that some kind of is that
if you see anyone carrying a doll to a ballpark, including a child, red flag him, I guess. In the community that once applauded Atchison for his dedication to youth sports, that's frightening, people now worry that the assistant U.S. attorney might have held other secrets, but authorities have so far found no cases of child molestation in Florida involving Atchison. Pensacola mayor has tried to reassure parents and other residents alarmed by Atchison's arrest. There's nothing involving local children, and there should be no implication that there is, he said. As a federal prosecutor, some people ask, what did this dude do? Atchison mostly worked on tax and financial crime cases. According to court records, it appears he never prosecuted child sex abuse cases. This is what his attorney said, released a statement on Friday. We are deeply saddened to learn the death of John Roy Atchison. Our heartfelt regrets go out to his wife and children, his parents, and his brothers and sisters. This is a man who had done a lot of good in his life.
Oh, they're trying to, like, balance it out?
I mean, look at it. Come on, dude. I don't care if this dude, discovered the cure for cancer. It's like there's no amount of good that a person can do.
He prosecuted tax evaders.
Yeah, yeah.
And therefore, he should be throwing a couple children.
Right. Toss him a babe or two. Unfortunately, he is going to be judged by his most recent charges and what we have read in the media, and not by the goodness, hard work, or by the love of his family.
That means his check cleared, so they were just like, all right.
Pretty much. How do you fucking find anything kind to say about this guy? I understand he's got a wife and kids, but I'm sorry, you lose your human rights, I feel, when you stop acting like a human being and start acting like a monster. Then he should be treated like a monster. He should be treated like Frankenstein. They should be pitchforks and
okay,
torches.
I have compassion for his family.
Yeah, I feel bad for his wife and his kids, but not so much that he's dead. Because fucking how awkward would that be for the rest of their lives? I mean, this dude was looking at... He probably wouldn't have seen his family again.
Yeah.
He was charged with 3 felonies, the most serious of which is crossing state lines with intent to have sex with someone under the age of 12. Conviction carries a minimum 30-year prison sentence and a maximum of life. That dude wasn't getting out. I thought that was an interesting law, though. There's a law in the books, federal law, I guess.
Crossing state lines.
If you cross state lines to have sex with somebody under the age of 12, you go to, boom, 30 years. Do not pass go if you're convicted. You don't get, like, good behavior. 30 years. Minimum. And maximum of life. So this dude was looking at a life in prison, and I guess he heard the stories, and he worked in the justice system.
To SModcast.
Yeah,
he
was
I'm
just
gonna
like,
get raped.
I'm fucked. Or somebody's going to shoot me in the appendage. But he's gone. Another monster gone, sir. In several conversations, Atchison said he wanted to have oral, vaginal, and anal sex with the woman's fictitious daughter. I'm always gentle and loving, not to worry, no damage ever, no rough stuff ever. Ever. He said ever twice. Atchison said at one point, according to the affidavit filed in court, I've done it plenty, he said. This is who we're talking about, just so everyone remembers before people get all up in arms. There's one dude on the board who said that I was worse than that guy for saying that we should torture that man to death. It's like, there's, because nobody will, his point was like,
that's a little
fucking retarded, right? I'm worse. I'm worse than a fucking child rapist. This dude on the board who was not defending this dude, but like going at me so hard for
wanting to shoot
him in each appendage, cut off his nuts, and show him,
and then have him crawl across the desert, trying to find a hospital.
But he was so like, I had to look and see because on the board it says where your location is, like where you.
Yeah.
Thankfully, this dude was in the UK because this dude was so hardcore trying to like take the blame off this fucking pedophile. Not pedophile, child rapist. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
And put it onto me. I was like, maybe it's fucking Atchison himself who got a hold of a computer and was like, I gotta dodge this fucking heat, man. Put it on this guy.
I'm gonna start right here.
Yeah, I'm gonna start SModcast. Start on this website. Gone, dude. Just gone. So happy to hear that. Because now the good people of Detroit don't have to fucking pay their taxes to keep this monster alive.
It's true. It answers my question of like, I don't want to have to pay for this person,
which I thought was an excellent point.
And therefore, I applaud his volunteering to not be a burden on the tax people of America.
Totally. Maybe he did listen to SModcast, and what I said didn't.
He's like, I was a tax.
He was listening to you. Yeah. He's like, look, I fought
prosecuted
tax evaders, and I realized I know a thing or two about taxes. Perhaps I should save everybody a bundle.